The Biden administration has made several changes to U.S. immigration policy as it fights to protect migrant children. At least 36 Texas-based shelters housing unaccompanied minors are now slated to operate without state oversight in September. And this is in response to Governor Greg Abbott's order to ramp down their use. The Biden administration has also announced a change in how it will interpret a U.S. immigration law dealing with adoptions. Children born abroad to parents who used assisted reproductive technologies like IVF will qualify for U.S. citizenship and green cards. The updated guidance says children will meet citizenship eligibility requirements as long as one parent is a U.S. citizen and one parent is genetically related or gave birth to the child. The policy shift is a victory for same-sex couples and other parents living overseas who use surrogates or IVF. For more on that and other immigration topics, I want to bring in CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez. Camilo, the Biden administration is threatening to sue Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott after he instructed Texas officials to stop licensing shelters for migrant children without legal status and to, quote, wind down operations by August 30th. So what will happen after then, and who will have oversight of the children?
Yes, good afternoon. For context, the Department of Health and Human Services operates scores of shelters and foster care programs across the country to house unaccompanied children who cross the U.S.-Mexico border without legal permission. These shelters are licensed by their respective states to care for minors. Back in May, Texas Governor Greg Abbott issued a proclamation instructing state authorities to stop licensing these shelters in Texas. Now we know that at least 36 of these facilities in Texas will operate without licenses and without any state oversight starting after August 30th. And this is because Texas Governor Greg Abbott has argued that the state is being, quote, commandeered into helping the U.S. federal government house these unaccompanied children coming across the U.S. southern border illegally. We know that this has concerned advocates, Bradley, because according to a settlement agreement known as the Flores Settlement, unaccompanied children in U.S. custody are supposed to be housed in licensed facilities, and there are supposed to be certain rules in place that govern their care and the standards of living at these facilities. But the Biden administration has acknowledged that it may be unable to meet these legal requirements because of Abbott's order. However, despite a legal threat to sue, the Texas government, the Biden administration, has yet to file a lawsuit.
And Camilo, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has changed its guidance to expand citizenship eligibility for children of same-sex couples and other parents who were born overseas. The new guidance changes a long-standing U.S. immigration policy. What is different now?
Sure. So under this new U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services policy, children born overseas to married couples that include a U.S. citizen will no longer be required to have a direct biological link to the American parent to qualify for U.S. citizenship. So as long as one parent is a U.S. citizen and one parent is genetically related to or gave birth to the child, the baby will qualify for U.S. citizenship as well as other family-based immigration benefits. And this is a victory mainly for same-sex couples and others who use assisted reproductive technology overseas. And we also know that USCIS has said that this will help, quote, modern families as they go about their immigration proceedings. And previously, under the previous interpretation of this law, children who are going to benefit from this policy change could have been considered to have been born out of wedlock, rendering them ineligible for U.S. citizenship.
And Camilo, the Biden administration expelled nearly 200 Mexican and Central American family members deep into Mexico on Thursday. It's a similarly controversial procedure it's similar to, I should say, a controversial procedure that the Trump administration used to disrupt a pattern of what they said were repeat crossings under U.S. border policy known as Title 42. Now, President Biden hasn't really received the same amount of criticism on this as President Trump. Why do you think that is, and what is President Biden's motivation for this?
Sure. So Title 42, Bradley, is a public health authority dating back to the late 19th century that the government argues allows officials to suspend asylum and immigration laws during a global pandemic. The Trump administration first invoked this law in March 2020, and the Biden administration has continued to use it to expel most single adult migrants and families with children from the U.S.-Mexico border without allowing them to seek any type of U.S. humanitarian refuge. The argument behind this policy, Bradley, is that if all migrants are allowed to make a case for asylum right now, Border Patrol facilities are going to be overwhelmed, and that will create an environment that is conducive to the spread of the coronavirus, and that will in turn overburden local healthcare systems. And now the Biden administration has extended this policy indefinitely, citing the spread of the Delta variant as well as the highest number of border apprehensions in over 20 years, dating back to 2000. So now we know that the Biden administration is flying Central American families as deep into the Mexican interior to avoid having them cross the border multiple times and to discourage future migration flows. But advocates argue that this policy is unlawful because they argue that it denies asylum seekers a fair opportunity to seek U.S. refuge and may place them in harm's way.
So, Camilo, Title 42 about public health, at least that's the basis for it. And we know that the Biden administration is taking aggressive actions to stop the surge of the Delta variant all across the country. Now, it begs the question, though, what's being offered to migrants when they arrive at the border? Are they eligible to receive vaccines while they are in these holding areas? That's
an excellent question. So for context, the migrants who are expelled under Title 42 are not supposed to be tested for the coronavirus. They are just rapidly returned to Mexico or via a deportation flight to their home country. The migrants who are processed under regular immigration laws are tested for COVID-19. Unaccompanied children are transferred to the Department of Health and Human Services, like we mentioned earlier, and families with children are briefly detained before being released to local shelters and other NGOs that are supposed to be testing these migrants. If the families test positive for the coronavirus, they are supposed to be isolated in local hotels to recover there. Right now, the Department of Homeland Security has told us that there are no plans to offer COVID-19 vaccination to migrants in Border Patrol custody, but Immigration and Customs Enforcement, another agency within the Department of Homeland Security, has begun to offer vaccines to immigrants in its custody. Unlike Border Patrol, Bradley, ICE detains migrants for longer periods of time until they complete their immigration proceedings.
Okay, Camilo Montoya-Galvez, following so many parts of this moving issue of immigration. Camilo, thank you.
Thanks, Bradley.